1950 there could be fewer than 50 pairs, and from there it would be a hair's breadth to extinction as a breeding species in Britain. Now at Christmas, when we sing of the gifts my true love gave to me, few carolers have ever heard a turtle dove, let alone seen one. The significance of its name, derived from the lovely Latin tur, nothing to do with the reptile, all to do with its seductive purring, is lost to us. The symbolism of turtles, their pair bonding an allegory of marital tenderness and devotion, their mournful tur-touring, the song of love lost, the stuff of Chaucer, Shakespeare and Spenser, is vanishing into the kingdom of phoenixes and unicorns. As its territory shrinks to the southeast corner of England, Sussex is one of the turtle's final redoubts. Even so, numbers for our county are reckoned to be at best 200 pairs. Trouble on the migration route is undoubtedly partly responsible. Periodic droughts, changes in land use, the loss of roosting sites, increasing desertification and hunting in Africa, and the stupendous challenge of crossing the firing squads of the hunters of the Mediterranean. In Malta alone, the slaughter claims 100,000 turtle doves every season. Around 800,000 a year are killed in Spain. Yet these impacts, considerable though they are not enough to explain the almost complete collapse of the population in Britain. In France, where hunters still shoot the birds on their return passage to Africa after the breeding season, numbers have decreased 40% since 1989. A significant loss, but nothing compared with ours, where, in recent times at least, we have opted not to shoot them. Across Europe, turtle dove numbers have declined by a third over the past 16 years to fewer than 6 million pairs, leading, in 2015, to a change in the bird status on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List of Endangered Species, from least concern to vulnerable, the start of a worrying downward slide. But compared to the angle of European decline, the trajectory of the UK numbers is an almost vertical dive. The turtle dove's predicament in Britain is rooted in the almost complete transformation of our countryside, something that has come about in just 50 years. Changes in land use, and in particular intensive farming, have altered the landscape beyond anything our great-grandparents would recognise. These changes have taken place at all scales in the landscape, from the size of fields that now cover entire valleys and hills to the almost total disappearance of native flowers and grasses from farmland. Chemical fertilisers and weed killers have eradicated common plants like fumitree and scarlet pimpernel, on whose tiny, energy-rich seeds the turtle doves feed, while the wholesale clearance of wasteland and scrub, the ploughing of wildflower meadows, and the draining and pollution of natural watercourses and standing ponds has wiped out their habitat. The same agricultural revolution has taken place on the continent, but in Europe it seems there is enough wild land left, and in large enough areas, to slow the decline in turtle dove numbers. But in lowland England, what tiny fragments of nature remain, whether left by accident or by design, are like oases in a desert, disconnected from natural processes, the interactions and dynamism that drive the natural world. We lost more ancient woods, tens of thousands of them, in the 40 years after the Second World War, than in the previous 400. Between the beginning of the war and the 1990s, we lost 75,000 miles of hedgerows. Up to 90% of wetland has disappeared in England alone since the Industrial Revolution. 80% of Britain's lowland heathland has been lost since 1800, a quarter of the acreage in the last 50 years. 97% of our wildflower meadows have been lost since the war. This is a story of unremitting unification and simplification, reducing the landscape to a large-scale patchwork of ryegrass, oilseed rape and cereals, with scattered undermanaged woods and remnant hedgerows the only remaining refuge for many species of wildflowers, insects and songbirds. Underfunded and unprioritised, conservation measures have failed to hold ground against agricultural intensification and development. Ironically, England, which boasts one of the greatest